Okay, thank you. So, Ms. Winger, you actually mentioned GC strategies specifically in your opening remarks, and the ongoing scandal over the ArriveCan app and the awarding of that contract. Are you aware that GC Strategy, the same company that is embroiled in the ArriveCan scandal, is also a significant Department of Defense contractor?
I'm not aware of that, but
okay.
I'm not at all surprised either.
All right. So I wonder if any of our witnesses, for example, just a search of open government, I think, can reveal some of this information. There's some public information about this. GC Strategies is, for example, procurement number W768322R017 is a procurement that was sole sourced. It says it was for $38,000. We don't know what was done. Does anybody know anything about this this particular contract? Or another one for $99,553, dated July 31st, 2020. GC Strategies, $2,148,650.70. A contract, all we know, I've got a date of January 22nd, 2019, for professional services not otherwise specified. This one says it's competitively sourced. I have no idea what particular skill was involved there. Any of our witnesses know anything about these particular?
So I don't have any knowledge of them right now. We can certainly look into them, especially because they say they're professional services. That is something that we have always looked at from a contracting out perspective. That is where they engage in engineering services or IT work that could be done by our members. So we can take a look and see what we can find. But professional services is something.
Yeah. Now, GC is not the only one. I know you had mentioned it in your opening statement. We know that this is a controversial contractor because of the overrun. Well, overrun is not even the right word for it, but the what has happened with the ArriveCan app. But McKinsey is another one that we've talked about at this committee. Are you aware of the scope and scale of the McKinsey contracts with the government? For example, November 4th, $3 million contract for $3 million. Contract April 5th, 2022, $1,533,766. March 25th, another one for $935,000. Can you speak to the issues around transparency? We see these contracts. We don't know what they're for. Any comment?
So from a transparency perspective, of course, we want to make sure that we're getting value for taxpayer money. We'd have to take a look at them. But from the GC Strategies and the McKinsey, those aren't really big on our radar. We have other really big players like Calian and TELUS and some others that are taking major amounts away from the government. We need to make sure that all contracting that is done on behalf of the government is done in a way that is transparent and accountable, and make sure that we have value for taxpayer money.
Right. You spoke of shoddy work. You spoke of, in fact, I think it was Ms. Winger, you talked about failure, complete failure, I guess, of the contract. I'm not sure what you meant, but do you have some examples you could give us on these consulting contracts that, under this government, have ballooned, as Ms. Kramp-Nyman had said in her opening statement?
So I guess that's the catch, isn't it? We try to catch all of these, and they're nearly impossible to track because they're simply not being tracked. The oversight simply doesn't exist. And so that's nearly impossible for us. So I can't even talk really to give you a fair answer on these sort of contracts because my members are dealing with what they actually see, that tangible work that's being done right at the department that I can more speak to. But these other contracts, or even most contracts, we ATIP the heck out of national defense and we get very little back. And when it does come back, much later, it's all redacted. It's nearly impossible to make head or tail out of it. And when we ask the department for it, we get very little from them.